All right, we made it. We are finally at week 10 of the term. First of all, I want to say thank you for all of your amazing work and dedication throughout the course of the term. We've covered a lot of ground in this class, starting off the beginning of the term, just kind of exploring kind of what is sociology, what is some of the main theories that we're working with, functionalism, conflict theory, interactionism, and then more generally the sociological perspective. And then kind of relating that to various topics or various aspects of popular culture. Kind of started off after kind of some foundational work on theory. Started getting into some sort of ideas about popular culture, like what is culture, what is popular culture, and the reasons to examine it. I mean, hopefully one of my goals throughout this particular class is to open up a perspective and thinking about basically everyday life stuff, the stuff that we're surrounded by. We live within culture. We are kind of in the soup of culture, sort of how we operate, right? It's where we learn ideas about ourselves, learn ideas about others. Powerful forces going on within culture to shape our own identities and our own experience as we walk in this world. So I think some theoretical tools to examine that are always useful and beneficial. My hope is that through this class, you gained an appreciation and a perspective of sociology that maybe you did not have before, and that perspective is one that you value, that you can see it in everyday life. You can see the importance of investigating culture as a way to understand kind of the things that are going on today, some of the concerns that we have in terms of identities built around gender, sexual orientation, race, class, other things, and sort of to problematize a little bit about the culture industries, and also to see value in the culture industries as well, to see that there's a function, there's a purpose of things that are operating in terms of the culture industries, the mass media, music, entertainment. These are important parts of culture that we find a lot of meaning and perspective gathering. And at the same time, there's a lot of critical stuff to be aware of in terms of those elements of the media. So thank you for all of your dedication, all of your investment in the readings. There's a lot of material that we covered throughout the course of the term. As an online class, there's a lot of responsibility that's placed on you as a student to work through material, work through the readings, work through the videos, analyze, critique, summarize, do all that kind of work. And hopefully the class was structured in a way that was effective for you. Kind of to try to keep the same format throughout the course of the term. Just so you knew what was expected. It was sort of the similar process, so we didn't have to relearn sort of new assessments or new kind of ways of doing things throughout the course of the term. So part of that kind of consistency was to keep things simple, to keep focused on the readings, keep focused on the material, and not to complicate things by other teaching strategies or assessment strategies. Okay, so for the final exam, it's basically kind of two parts. The first part, I provide a few different films that you can review. You're going to summarize the film and then apply the three theories to the film. So we have functionalism, conflict theory, interactionism. When you get to the section where you're defining the theories and applying them, spend just a little bit of time on the definition of the theory. You've already covered that before, previously in the term. So I'm less interested in your overall depth of discussion of the theory. I want you to provide enough foundation, the main ideas of the theory, and then spend more time about the application of the theory to the film. Keep in mind that not every theory is going to apply to the film really well. It could be that one particular theory, let's say conflict theory or interactionism or functionalism, it doesn't really matter. Let's say as you watch a film, you go, wow, I can see these theories in that film. Yeah, this is a great point about interactionism or functionalism or conflict theory. So you may go through that and you go, wow, there's really two theories that seem to be really resonating in the film. I think at least two of them are going to be highly applicable. A third theory may be kind of loosely fitted, may not do a good job in terms of applying to the film, but still talk about that theory and how it doesn't fit. So for example, if you focused on, okay, interactionism, and here's the theory, here's the ideas of the theory, and you're like, I don't really see that being applied to the film. Here's what the theory's about. Here's what it would investigate. Here's how it would look at popular culture. And this film really doesn't do that, right? So that's kind of the format, is kind of summarize the film, then sort of talk about all three theories and apply them. The second part of the final is providing me feedback about this particular online class and your experience. It's been a little while since I've taught online. I think it's a great vehicle to teach. It's a different vehicle to teach. I think there's definitely a student demand. I think you have complicated life, work schedules and personal schedules, and so it fits a need. And my goal is to try to figure out how to make this a more effective environment for you as a learner. I think there are a lot of great things about the class. I made notes myself throughout the course of the term about kind of either readings to change around, maybe to not do, or to do some different things in terms of assessments in the class. But I really encourage you to provide me some good information about your experience in the class, both things that you found incredibly valuable, important, the things you appreciated about the structure of the class, as well as things that you would, you'd make suggestions for changing, things that didn't work out so well, or things that were could be done in a different way to make them more effective. So your feedback's going to be really important to me. I appreciate you taking the time of providing me feedback. I know you may have already completed the official student online evaluations, so that's all good. If you haven't done that, please do that as well. These questions are more specific for me in terms of kind of instructionally, kind of how to figure out how to sort of do some things differently in the class. One of the things I'm kind of interested in is exploring how to make connections between students in class. And I got two questions with that. One, for you as a student, do you put a lot of value in making those connections in class? Maybe you want to kind of get into your course content. I just want to work through the material, do that independently, get feedback on the material every week from me. But you're not maybe as interested in doing kind of interactions or doing group work or doing discussions and those kind of things. Or you might be like, I really feel like we missed out on an opportunity to have more engagement, more discussions. I've already thought about that myself, about how to do things a little bit differently in terms of facilitating some of those discussions. But I'd be curious about your feedback about that, as well as those other areas. So the final is two parts. It's that kind of film and then application of theory and then feedback on the course. And then finally an extra credit opportunity if you want it. It's basically, what is sociology of popular culture? Like if somebody were to ask you that question, reflect back on the course, reflect back on the readings, define and explain what a sociology of popular culture is. What do we do with sociology in terms of applying it to popular culture? What's the value, the importance? What's kind of the goal in making that connection? So anyway, that's kind of in a nutshell. One of the things about being in an online class versus a face-to-face, in a face-to-face class, have the opportunity to get to know you personally. I always appreciate those student interactions, getting to know individuals within the class, outside the class. And here, didn't have the opportunity to do that. But my goal was to try to facilitate some connection with you through these weekly videos, and then also the audio comments on your weekly papers, just to try to bridge some of this technological gap and make some connections with you in some way. So hopefully you found the course interesting, valuable, engaging, and then you can take kind of these concepts and ideas forward. And I just appreciate everything you've done in the class, all your hard work and dedication. I wish you well in the future with your future studies, your professional, personal lives. Have a great finishing up of your term here for your final exams. Have a great next term. Have a good life. And if you ever see me around the community, say hello. Always good to meet folks. So take care.